I went back during the pandemic and rewatched it. And I told the guys on Wednesday when we were going to have you on that I've rewatched it. And as a 45-year-old man now, I watch it and I'm like, oh my God, these individuals aren't the greatest of people and aren't telling the best stories. In fact, Kevin Connolly's character is probably the lead in this show now with the moral compass of all this. I mean, as an adult and about to be dad, when you see old episodes and sometimes, what do you look at as just fun, or you're like, oh, I don't know if that was the best tutelage for young adults or not.
Well, for sure. I mean, we look back and as we're rewatching these episodes before we cover them on the podcast, there are these, cringe-worthy moments where Kevin and I always have the benefit of being able to blame Doug because
he
Doug
wrote it.
was the writer and the creator and did all this kind of stuff. But Doug will always say that the truth is that at the time, if you look at a character like Ari Gold, he would lose his job in 30 seconds for behaving that way in an office setting. But 15 years ago, that's what it was. And there, endless examples of that. And that's why it would be just different today. And when people would say, well, how would you reboot that show? And would it look different? And the answer is, well, of course it would look different because it's a different world.
Yeah.
But it is true. You kind of look back on it and there are some super cringe-worthy moments, but it's hard to it's a bit of a time capsule, and that was sort of the time. So you really can't live in the regret, and there's definitely things that wouldn't fly. But it's funny to your point, also, Ryan. I was. When the show aired initially, I was like, oh, this guy's the party, my character was the party pooper, and I was all these things, and I was always killing a good time. And now looking back all these years later, it's like, what a great guy he was,
Yep.
When on the first run, I was the guy that nobody wanted to invite to the party. So it's funny, the dynamics shift, and but it's also too the pandemic has just sort of brought in a whole new audience. I mean, I have young cousins, and these people are like watching it, and I'm thinking, wow, you were 5
right
when the show when the show aired, and now you've seen every episode. So, I think HBO Max has given it some new life, and yeah, man, it's fun taking the trip down memory road. Plus, it's at Action Park Media, so finally I get to be Doug's boss and boss him around.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.